Excellent. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's special meeting uh, for Thursday, June 25th. We'll start the meeting with a land acknowledgement. As we gather here today, let us be reminded that the community in which we live, work, and play is situated on traditional, unceded Algonquin First Nation territory. We would like to acknowledge and thank the Anishinaabe people and express our respect and support for the rich history and culture. Could I get a call to order, please?
All members of council are present.
Thank you. Approve the agenda. Could I get a mover for the agenda to be approved as written? Councillor Hinn and Councillor Comley. Any discussions? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. Thank you. Disclosure of pecuniary interests can be made now or at any point throughout the meeting by notifying the clerk. And we're going to start off this meeting by going into a closed session for a community planning matter. And the recommended motion is that the council move into a closed session at 5:02 p.m. to discuss a matter subject to Municipal Act Section 239-2, a position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of municipality or local board, and that the following persons be permitted to participate in the meeting: Diane Smithson, CAO, Stacy Blair, Clerk, Diana Knight, Director of Community Services, Joanne Henderson, Manager of Recreation and Culture, and Ross Rankin, Property and Project Manager, and and Teresa McConkey. We're adding that there. Could I get a mover for that? Deputy Mayor Tennant, seconded by Councillor Kavanaugh. All in favor of going into closed session? And that is carried, and we are going into closed session at 5:03. Muted you. Thank you for your patience, folks. Rise and report.
Staff direction was provided during the closed session.
Thank you very much. So we're going to move on to what tonight's meeting is about, which is discussions surrounding a new recreation facility way forward. And we have Ross Rankin and Diana Knight. I'll have throw the recommended motion on the floor, and then we can have a fulsome discussion moving forward. So we do have a recommended motion that the council approve the project scope and funding plan for a $25 million option, 10-lane times 25-meter pool, learn to swim pool, double gymnasium, and raised walking track, as outlined in the report by the Director of Community Services and Project and the pro. Thank you. And the property and project manager dated June 25th, 2026, and that the council recommends staff proceed with the procurement with the identified scope, and that council authorize staff to perform reactive maintenance only on the current aquatic center, and to advise council of any required repairs exceeding $10,000, and that council approve the public consultation strategy as presented and direct staff to proceed with public consultation on the recreation concept plan design based on the identified scope to solicit feedback and confirm project scope. Could I get a mover? Moved by Councillor Sakaspina, seconded by Councillor Kavanaugh. So we have that on the floor. Who wants to start?
Through you to the chair, we are just setting up the presentation, but we will be sharing the presentation tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chair, and good evening, Council, and thank you for reviewing our reports tonight on the way forward with a new recreation facility for the town. In the three reports presented at this special meeting, we are asking for Council's direction on the following: confirming the final scope for the new recreation facility, providing direction on what to do with the existing aquatic center, and next steps for this project, including procurement. In the report, staff have detailed many recent investments in the Carleton Place Aquatic Facility. In the past 4 years, $577,197 have been invested in the facility, and approximately $22,000 of this was unplanned. Additional investment is described in item 3 on this evening's agenda, and it's communication number 137060. Due to these recent major events and investments, it can be argued that the pool facility is in accelerated deterioration phase and past the economic tipping point where reinvestment in the pool facility makes sense. The risk of future failures in the next 12 to 24 months is extreme. The cost, certainty, and predictability of when these failures will occur is low. As such, there is certainty of an imminent major capital replacement or full reconstruction cost in the near term. Maintaining service until failure at the aquatic center and until a new facility can be constructed is possible. As is the case currently, due to the age and condition of the pool, the town is operating in a high-risk scenario where the pool may need to be partially or fully closed at any time due to a failure. This will require the town to accept operational instability and carry significant financial uncertainty that may lead the town having no pool facility for 18 months or more. This would lead to significant lost revenue, bookings, and potential staff losses. A new facility would provide a life cycle reset on major components and lower operational costs. This is a highlight, this slide from a table in the report. The risk of a partial or full shutdown due to a significant failure at the pool exists today, as mentioned. A partial rehabilitation, estimated to cost between $4 and $6 million, will not significantly reduce the risk of a major failure, making the business case for this investment weak. Service reliability will continue to be a moderate to major risk unless a complete shutdown of the pool is considered. And I will hand it over to my colleague Ross.
Thank you, Diana. So the new facility scope and community benefits include a lap pool, a leisure pool, therapeutic pool, plus a gymnasium, running track, and multi-purpose rooms for diverse activities. Obviously, it will include the accessibility components that are required and probably more, and be a much more efficient facility. Community and operational benefits. It reduces, obviously, the service disruptions we're currently having. We can enhance programs, supports regional demand, and ensures the water safety programs continue on into this region. Why the $25 million not class level option is recommended? The concepts that we've looked at so far is a $60 million brick and mortar facility back in 2025. We then looked at a prefabricated construction facility that would have a sprung component as the building itself, all prefab, as well as a prefab metal pool structure. The advantage of that is it's prefabricated. It can be built much quicker, 12 to 18 months, rather than 3 to 5 years. But the balanced affordability and functionality, the option balances the cost, so it reduces the cost because of the cost of the design. It can be built speedily and functionality while avoiding the site issues existing at the arena. Procurement and decision checkpoint, we will proceeding to procurement tests the market. Proceeding with the procurement process, it tests the market and allows council to reassess the proposal before we actually have a commitment to spending any more money. Oops. Building support and reducing risks. Staff really think it's very important to go to the community and get public consultation. Not only is it part of the process for an application for a grant, but it's important to understand what the community would like in this facility. There's different consultant methods. Sorry, my screen is. So the consulting methods would include open houses, focus groups, and online surveys to engage a broad cross-section of residents. How do we reduce project risks? Early engagement minimizes the scope changes and shows due diligence to government funders, reducing risk. Informing the project design consultation outcomes guide programming, design priorities, and operating assumptions to meet the community needs. We've done some of this already with our consultant that we've brought in that's been working with the working group. So I would like to talk a little bit about the funding strategy and the tax impact. So staff are aiming to reduce taxpayers' burden by using reserves, government grants, and funding allocations. And we will talk a little bit more about the grant application in a little bit. If we didn't have any additional funds through the grant applications, there would be a possibility of 6% tax increase for the residents. And with this effort, we would want to secure alternative funds ongoing. A contingency estimate for construction is not a class level estimate. So what we've got so far is a class D. It's a high level estimate. A 50% contingency is recommended with council review of proposals after procurement to be involved in the decision-making process. Key risks and mitigation. The possibility of having a pool closure as it's operated right now, is a medium in likelihood. It would be a high impact. The mitigation, which is what we're currently doing, reactive maintenance and contingency planning. Funding access for a new pool, likelihood of that is medium. It's very high impact, but we require public consultation and to be shovel ready in planning. The schedule, it's high, the impact is high, and we need to have dedicated project management. So what we're looking from council as a direction is to provide us with facility approval and procurement process. So staff are recommending council approve a $25 million conceptual facility scope, recreation facility, and authorize procurement to begin promptly. The public consultation strategy, which we'll be providing as well. It's very important to engage the community throughout the project development process, and it opens up the opportunity for federal and provincial grants. Repair and maintenance authorization. Staff is seeking council approval to continue reactive maintenance, so not to plan maintenance on the facility, and repairs at the existing aquatic center. And council will receive notification for repairs over $10,000. Staff are highlighting that as a partial or full closure of the Carleton Aquatic Center could occur at any time. So in other words, we could have a major failure. Balancing service and responsibility. The balanced approach supports service continuity, fiscal responsibility, and long-term community planning, well-being. Thank you. We'll take your questions.
I thank you both for that update of the plan moving forward. So I will open it up to the floor for discussion and or questions. Don't all put your hand up at once. Deputy Mayor Tennant.
Yeah. We've been working on this in some form or fashion for, I'd say, 2 terms of council. Like, it's been a long discussion about a recreation facility. We recently, after months and months and months of discussions and workshops and meeting with experts, have come to this result, which is the most cost-effective way to provide a pool and other facilities by far. We looked at multiple options. This was the best result for the best money, and it was a very reasonable price. I know it's $25 million, but compared to the other ways to do this, it's incredibly reasonable. Some of us sat into workshops with pool experts, and these are people who are pool experts around the world. They're building Olympic pools, and they gave us their advice, and this was their advice. This is the best way forward for a small community. The pool here that exists is incredibly popular with the whole region, not just Carleton Place. And I think because we've had it, people have an expectation that we will continue to have a pool. We could lose it, and I think that wouldn't be satisfactory to a good portion of our residents. They would feel that that's not okay, that we've had it, we can't not have it now. So I think we've done our homework. I'm prepared to support this at this point. I still have some things I'd like to know, and I've asked staff if this is the end all be all final decision. They said no, this is to get the design and to get in principle moving forward, but we can still stop this process if we want to. If we go to public consultation and we find that the whole town doesn't want to build a pool, well, we'll get that answer and we'll know what to do with it. But for the time being, we spent a lot of time to get to this point, and I think this is the right way forward right now.
Thank you. I'll go to Councillor Sakaspina, then Councillor Hinton, and then Councillor Atkinson. Councillor Sakaspina, you're good?
Just checking. Okay. I'm for this pool too. It's clear we need a new pool as well as a new rec center to give our citizens all the opportunities to be active in our community and serve the growth that we know if eventually is going to happen. And we can't keep throwing good money after bad for the failing pool that's 50 years old. And at some point, it's just not feasible to keep putting Band-Aids on gaping wounds. That said, here are some of my concerns. This has the potential to eat up our reserves along with a required tax increase. Given the economy and financial report a couple of weeks ago that the town is bringing in less in development charges revenue than expected and may well continue to do so, and so some local municipalities potentially lowering their development charges if they receive funding for their projects. We just can't keep on replenishing our reserves through development charges. That said, I know the town will continue its excellent work in attempting to secure federal and provincial funding, which we've been very successful with in the past. The Community Sport and Recreation Infrastructure Fund has seen an additional $300 million added this year, and that has helped fund a number of similar projects to this to the tune of several $1 million in the past. One example that we're following, or I'm following, is Uxbridge, which has a similar population to Carle Place in Beckwith. They received a little over $9 million from this fund for a similar new build. Obviously, there are no guarantees, but ours fits well with the type of projects that have been funded in the past. One thing I'm very concerned about is we also need to be very open to naming rights agreements that is bring in initial funding that it can help lower taxpayer burden. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Sexpina. Councillor Hinton.
Thank you, Mayor Randall. First of all, I'd be remiss in not thanking the working group of Councillor Comley, Deputy Mayor Tennant, and Mayor Randall, who have put in countless hours in meetings and meeting with specialists and design and going through everything so they can bring us back a thorough report, as well as staff in their reporting back and giving us all the information that we require in making a big decision like this. For me, there's three options on the table. We put $7 to $9 million into an aging facility, which then would be a complete shutdown for 12 to 18 months. Not a great idea. We put which is, again, just so people are clear, that's $7 to $9 million that would go into our current facility is paid for out of the tax base. We put that $7 or $9 million into a new facility, as been expressed by our reports, where we're resetting and we have everything new. We don't have any worried more costs coming as far as repairs and maintenance and things of that nature. Or we close down our current pool, which, as Deputy Mayor Tennant stated, is probably not going to be an acceptable option to most of our residents either. I'm in favor of moving forward with Council's request tonight and seeing, once we get that Class C pricing, on exactly what the total build out's going to be. I love the location of the facility. I think the working group has done a great job in what the facility has with the 10 lanes, with the gymnasiums, the walking track, which will be a huge asset to this community. Again, it's going to come down to tax dollars at the end of the day. Ross had mentioned with no grants, it represents about a 6% tax increase. And that's using, as Councillor Sexpina indicated, our reserves, our half funding, which puts us in a precarious situation. So again, moving forward tonight with what's proposed, knowing that our staff has done a great job in the past in getting our grants for us, will be a huge final decision the next council or this council is going to have to make in the final decision. But I will support staff's recommendation this evening.
Thank you, Councillor Hinton. Councillor Atkinson.
Thank you, Mayor. I concur with what my other councillors have been saying, and I'm prepared to support the staff recommendation. I think it's clear that we've done our homework on this. In fact, we've done more than just our homework on this. This is one of the most strenuously studied files of this term, I would think, in terms of looking at a significant recreational and social investment in the town. And as far as the tax implications go and the financing go, this is also something that's going to be financed through growth over time. And giving the town a new facility, an expanded facility, is something that's going to actually continue that growth track moving forward, because losing our pool, I think, would be hugely detrimental to the town. It makes us a less attractive place to live, to purchase a home in. And we're going to be relying on those new home purchases to replenish our reserves once we make this investment. So kudos to the staff and to the councillors that have done the heavy lifting on this project already. I think we're ready to take this next step in the process where we have a plan, we have a full understanding of the costing. I'm looking forward to the public consultation phase of this. I'm really interested in hearing what folks in Carleton Place think about a new facilities, get their imagination juices flowing, and tell us what they think and what they really want a new community facility like this to encompass. And I would encourage staff to, as Councillor Sekaspina mentioned, pursue the option of sponsorship, private sponsorship, or naming rights in the new facility to help with that financial impact. Let's find out whether the town folk are interested in pursuing that and as a way of keeping their tax bills down, because I think it's an opportunity there. And by creating a new little community hub south of 7, there's an opportunity there for the businesses that surround it to get involved and invest in the development of the site itself to provide even more services to people. So engaging with the folks that are around this potential site, I think, needs to be a key part of the public consultation. But thank you. I look forward to voting in favor of this.
Thank you, Councillor Atkinson. Councillor Comley?
Yes, thank you. As a member of the little subcommittee that's been working on this, it's really nice to see this come to this point here. I want to thank staff for the report. It was detailed and timelined, and it does show the extensive work and thought process that has gone into this. This has not been a quick decision. Not only did we, discuss with experts about types of pools and types of buildings, we went a step farther and did a business plan into what can we reasonably support operationally within this facility. So we have done our homework above and beyond. I'm in favor of moving on to the next steps. The pressures are being put on us by the current state of our old facility, which we know it's kind of a ticking time bomb. We don't know when it's going to go, but it's not going to last forever. So that does put us in some timeline pressure to try and bridge the gap between two new facilities. I'm excited for the public consultation too. I hope they feel the way we do and have similar ideas, but we will find out. And it's an important step to make sure that we are providing our residents and the public with what they want and can afford. Ultimately, we do have to look at what we can afford and do this carefully. Hopefully our staff team will get us more higher level government funds as they have in the past, because they will be much needed to make this work. So yeah, I'm in favor of moving forward to next steps. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hinton.
Sorry. Thank you, Mayor Randall. One thing I did want to have on the record for the public consultation, and again, it's a very, very important requirement that we're looking for. I would like the questions to be vetted through the working group. I think they have the background on all of this as well, sitting in through all of those meetings. And I think it's important that that working group vets those questions before they go out for public consultation. So I would recommend that's part of the motion as well.
Thank you, Councillor Hinton. Councillor Sekaspina?
I just have one question. Why is scenario 4 the only one that meets the annual repayment limit? Scenario 5 has a lower total loan repayment. Shouldn't that also meet the ARL limits?
Thank you. Through the chair, Councillor Sekaspina. We added that option at the very end, and you're absolutely correct. It will fit within our ARL, our annual repayment limit.
Thank you, Teresa. We've pretty much gone around the table. I'm looking at one particular councillor who hasn't spoken yet, giving her the option. You don't have to. I'm not saying you. You can if you wish. No pressure.
Well, now I feel like I have to.
No, I mean, I'm just listening to everybody else. I don't know that I have anything to add. I mean, this is a very in-depth report, and anybody that knows me knows I like a good business case. Because at the end of the day, for me, it will be that marriage between what the public wants and what they admittedly want to fund or fund through user fees or whatever, and what we can recoup in operating revenue. So that perfect balance represented in this business case helps make the decision easy to go to that next step, get that consultation, ensure that we are on the same page with the residents who will ultimately be funding this, and fingers and toes crossed that our staff have some success in some different funding options. But yeah, no, I'm comfortable with the level of detail that we've achieved in this report. So.
Thank you. Councillor Secaspina. I get to choose, Linda.
Well, all right
Sorry,
then.
and the only reason I'm choosing you is because I didn't look left. So we'll
Thank
go with
you.
you, Councillor Secaspina, then I'll go to Deputy Mayor.
I apologize, Andrew. I saw you waving frantically in the breeze. This is just going to come from my heart, and that's the last thing I'm going to say about it. You know, it's so great to have top of the line new building coming, but it needs to serve everyone, including those with physical challenges. The reason I bring this up because a lift to the elevated walking track wasn't considered in the original plan. The walking track is something that's going to be widely used by seniors, and I spoke with Diana this morning, and it is being included, and I want to thank Toby for saying the elevator is a must. So I'm going to speak about when we did the Main Street renos. Accessibility was shown the plans, but they really didn't have much say. I know because I had some complain to me about how much participation in it. I know with Andrew as chairman of the board and Stacey Blair, it won't happen this time. We do need to do more when accessibility is a potential issue. It shouldn't be about the mayor asking a question about a lift to ensure everyone is included. Thank you.
You still got your hand up, Andrew? Deputy Mayor Tennant.
Thank you. I think we're kind of nearing the end of the conversation. I just want to clarify a couple of things. One, I really like Mark's idea about referring the public consultation questions back to the working group. I think we'll come up with some really great questions, and I think we're so close to it at this point, and we've done so much with it. I think that we can really key in on what we want advice from the public on at this point. So I'd like that. What was the other? The reactive repairs and maintenance to the existing building. So the motion has that it's advise council of any repairs exceeding $10,000. That's great. I mean, I think we're gonna get advised anyways, right? Like, even if you do it, then tell us after. That'd be great. But the question I have is up to how much before we have to hit the brakes and come get requests for money.
Chair. It's working now.
It's on.
Through you to the chair. Yes, Councillor, we will be moving forward with that and advising, regardless of what the cost of the repair is. We will advise council just so you're fully looped in on all the money that is being spent. The $10,000 is the recommended threshold from staff. However, it is council's will if they'd like to change or lower. But certainly we can provide a running total of investments made in the pool. I hope that's a satisfactory response, but I would entertain any follow-up questions.
Yeah, no, I like the number. I think it's a cumulative number as well as sorry, I lost my train of thought here for a second. That's if you had a repair that cost you $90,000, because this says advise, it doesn't say won't do unless you get authority.
Through the chair, we can certainly bring that to council. I think the intention was to bring it to council. If it does exceed $10,000, we would bring that to council for decision.
Yeah, just wanted clarification. The way it was written, it said, you know, we'll let you know, but yeah. Anyways, but other than that, I think. The mayor cut my mic. I think that's the first time I've been cut off. Anyways, I'm happy, so thank you.
So by all accounts, it looks like everybody with the first portion of this, I'm going to break this down. Everybody seems to be very comfortable with the 10-lane, 25-meter pool, the $25 million option with the gymnasium and the walking track. Everybody is on board with that, and we're good with moving ahead. The procurement and the scope. So the recommended is the design build. Ross, do you just want to just quickly touch base on that so it can kind of be on the public record and just to make sure everybody's comfortable with it?
Thank you, through the chair. Yes, so you have another report, communication report, communication 137059. That's also included with your package. And that's when we talk about a little bit of the background of what's occurred and those types of things and our recommendation moving forward. There are actually three options that we kind of looked at. One is non-competitive procurement, which is basically council gives us authority to go to one group and go down that road. And, you know, there's several issues with that without even getting into detail what I have in writing, but we find that there's a lot of issues. Traditional design bid build process. It is a good process. There's a lot of checks and balances with that. There's some risk in timelines. I think that's kind of really how I would like to look at it. If we go through that process, we're a 3 to 5 year build. So you're going to have something in 3 to 5 years after you go through the whole process. It's a very lengthy process. A design build process is staff puts together with council's input, very specifically, what are the requirements? 10 lanes, these are like a lot of detail. And we go to the market and we tell them that we believe that we want a modified building so that we can move things forward, and modified components, and we put that in detail. We go to the market comes back to us, and they have the construction company, the design company, the architects, everybody all together as a group. They come back to us with a proposal and they say, based on what you say that you want, this is what we can build it for, and this is how long it's going to take us to build it. That's sort of our recommendation.
Thank you. So just as a last point, if nobody else has anything else on the initial motion, everybody would have said everything that I would say and agree with as far as going to the public and the questions coming back to the working group. I don't think that needs to delay anything. We can meet next week and get that, those fine-tuned, but we know that we're going to go forward publicly with the list of questions and the designs to get input from our constituents. So we're good with that. This was one of our strategic initiatives at the beginning of the term. This is something, as Deputy Mayor Tennant said, we've been, actively working on this term, but actually had conversations about last term. We know that Carleton Place is situated, that we're going to continue to grow. We have plenty of houses that are coming. We have many active subdivisions. Our population is going to continue to grow, and we have to continually look to updating our rec facilities and our cultural facilities for everybody that's moving into town and their existing constituency that has been using the pool for the past 50 years. And I do believe what Andrew and others have said is correct in that people have an expectation of that pool. If we didn't ever have a pool, I don't know that we would be going down this road, to be honest with you. But there is an expectation, and we have been serving not only the Carleton Place population, but the greater region with this pool. And we have an opportunity to continue that legacy, and I think we should. So I'm fully in favor with what everybody said. And Linda, you get the last word, and we'll call the question.
All right. I know a lot of people in town are for this pool. I've been told many times, just last week at a funeral, I was told to tell the mayor that if we didn't approve it, 30 women from the senior swimming group at the pool are going to come to council in their bathing suits to protest.
And I was about to jump in and say, you already said you're going to have your last say. Okay, well, we definitely don't want that. So, not that we wouldn't want them to come and have discussion and conversation, but we don't want them to come angry in their bathing suits. So, so the recommended motion has been read. Do we need to add the bit about the questions going back to the working group, or can that just get?
I was of the opinion that it could be staff direction. I can make note of it in the minutes, though.
Thank you. That's perfect. So on item number 1, the recommended motion has been read. I'm going to call the question. All in favor? Any opposed? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Good discussion. Item number 2 is the procurement strategy for a new recreation facility. I just had Ross talk about that, just to make sure that we're all, as that was part of the whole item. The recommended motion is that council approve the design build procurement strategy for the new recreation facility project. I will get a mover and seconder to get it on the floor. Councillor Atkinson and Councillor Hinton. Ross has already just described that to us. Is there any questions to Ross or staff about that before we call the question? Going once, twice, seeing not. All in favor of that recommended motion? Is there anybody opposed? And that is carried. Thank you. Item number 3 is the hot therapeutic pool basin failure and other recent issues. With Ross, I'll read the recommended motion. We'll get it on the floor for Ross's report and discussion. The council approved the contracting the replacement of the Diamond Bright plaster finish on the pool to GBI Pools as outlined in the report by the property and project manager dated June 25th, 2026, and that the budget deviation of $50,697.48 be funded through the year-end surplus, if any, and from the asset management reserve. Can I get a mover? Councillor Comley, seconded by Councillor Kavanaugh. Ross, your report.
Thank you through the chair. Unfortunately, I'm coming back with not so good news, and Councillor Hinton doesn't like seeing me at this desk most times I show up, and that's what he says every time I show up. We have had some issues which I have reported to council over the last several months, since November, which was the first time that we had the occurrence where the plaster bottom of the hot pool is delaminating and it has come off in chunks, large enough, 3 foot in diameter kind of thing. We've done a couple of repairs. It continues to happen. It's delaminating. It's a rough surface right now. So we contacted the original contractor, which was Benson's Pools. They came in, took them a while to come in, but they came in and they identified that the 11-year-old product is 1 year past its life expectancy, which I was unaware of. I wasn't around when that product was installed, but it's designed to last about 10 years. When it was installed, it was about $30,000 at the time, I believe. Now it's $50,000, a little over $50,000. We brought in another contractor from the area that's just moved into the Ottawa area called GBI Pools, which is a commercial pool company from Southern Ontario that's expanding. And they actually came in first and they said exactly the same thing, that it needs to be replaced. They did say that they could repair it at about $5,000, but there's no guarantee that the repair is going to last. Was it the taillights thing there? Whatever. So basically, there's like a taillight warranty on it. There is no warranty on it. They can fix it, but it's not going to last. So what I'm recommending to council is that even with the process that you approved, we won't have a pool for at least a year or 18 months, a new pool. So we will get to the point that we will have to close down the hot pool if we don't do a full repair to the pool. I'll do that to question.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Tennant.
Thanks, Ross. So GBI said that they wouldn't warranty the repair, but will either company warranty the entire?
Yes, Yes, it's basically from scratch. They're removing the surface, putting a new surface on, so there will be a 10-year warranty on the new surface.
The other question is, what if we don't do anything?
I misspoke, not a 10-year warranty on it. The life expectancy will be 10 years.
What's the warranty?
It would be a couple years. It'd be 3 years.
So $50,000 for a coating strikes me as pretty expensive. I actually do similar things, and that's a lot. What happens if we don't do anything? I mean, we'll leave chunks, we'll have exposed concrete, but we'll have $50,000.
So if you do nothing, it will continue to delaminate, and the health inspector will come in and close the pool.
Diana?
Through the chair, we just want to highlight the risk to public safety, like in terms of like scratches and cuts on the bottom of the pool surface, as Ross just said, with health and safety shutting us down. But additionally, I just want to highlight the reputational risk here of partially closing down the aquatic facility. So if the $50,000 investment is not made, it does not look good in the public sphere among residents that we are partially closing the pool. That loss, I can speak, it will be felt among like the arthritic aquafit, for example. So we may have some programming impacts as well, because we cannot offer like those warm water programming options. I know the parent and taught programs also really, really enjoy that particular facility.
Just one sec. How long would this repair take, did you say, Ross?
It would take a couple of weeks, so it would be scheduled in August during a slow time, during our regular shutdown time, and it would be ready to open as normal.
Thank you. Councillor Hinton?
Thank you, Mayor. Ross, you had mentioned they could just do a repair for 5,000. That's a lot of repairs over the next 12 to 18 months, since we've just given approval to move forward with a new facility. Is there an expectation if they just did a $5,000 repair on how long that could possibly last? Even if they came in 6 months from now and did another one, we're at 10,000. And if they came 6 months later or 18 months, we're at 15,000 and our new facility is open. So I'm questioning the additional 35,000 for a 3-year warranty and a 10-year product when the expectation is the pool's going to be open for another 18 months.
So the answer is yes, we can continue to repair the pool. Each time we repair the pool, we have to drain the pool. We have to let the pool dry. So it's a time constraint. When we had the issue last year in November, we did the repair and then we had another failure. And then we had to shut down the pool for a few weeks before Christmas to ensure that it was dried properly and that everything was okay. So yes, we can continue to repair the pool, but every time we go to repair the pool, you have to drain the water of the pool. You have to dry it, do the repair, fill the water, heat the water, treat the water with chemical. All those things are starting to add up as well.
It's a good question, though. And that is, we might not be exactly 18 months before a new pool opens either. That you got to keep that in mind, right? Like that would be, I think, super best case scenario, like super best case scenario. But we do need to, we knew that this was the situation, that this pool was going to continue to cost us money and we we're going to have to limp along. But there was an expectation when we started this process that pool was still going to be in use for the next at least 24 months, or not. That was the other option, was that we just shut it down outright. And I don't know that anybody's comfortable doing that. So anyways, just thought I'd lay that out there. Deputy Mayor Tennant.
Yeah, same as Mark. We just pulled the trigger on $25 million and we're replacing this thing. And we don't have a money tree to go kicking out back. So what I would propose, and it's just me, is we just gave you a threshold of $10,000 for repairs. I'd say $10,000 is my max for this. If that means they can do a little bit more to reassure that this would be a good repair, maybe that would help. But I don't think I'd want to go more than 10,000 myself. $50,000 to reskin a pool that may or may not be used in the next 2 years is it's just too much for me to handle. And I think it's a big ticket price as well. So that's my thought on it.
Councillor Kavanaugh.
I mean, none of us like seeing these pool bills come in, which is exactly ironically why we just had this conversation. It's proving our own point. But saying that, I do believe that there is an expectation and a service level for residents. And while I'm not keen to spend $50,000, if it means that one of the most well-used rec venues in our municipality can continue to operate unobstructed for the next 2 years, is that not money well spent? Like, I know that the length of it, I know it seems ridiculous to spend $50,000 for something that'll last 10 years that we probably won't use for 10 years. But if we can use it for the next 2 years without every 3 months having to shut that hot pool down and disrupt all the classes and the services and such in that time, I think we need to consider that as well, because these are like that therapeutic pool is well used by, people that pay for lessons, people that pay for classes. If they suddenly can't use that, you're refunding all of those fees, are you not? Like, if I was going to go book one of these classes and that was a concern for me, I might opt not. That program, you might as well shut that program down, is I guess what I'm saying. If you're not going to spend the money, then you might as well just have it as it's available for public swims. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You can't offer programming in it.
Thank you. Councillor Atkinson.
And one of the reasons we've been moving at light speed to get a new facility approved was to avoid having a prolonged disruption in service at our existing facility. This is an unfortunate development, as we saw the risk of failure at the existing facility was, I think the word Diana used, extreme in your report, and this is an example of that. Where we're at that point, it's at end of life, and end of life is never pretty, no matter what you're talking about. And this is an unfortunate development, but in order to keep the facility operating in a way that's safe for the public until that new facility is ready, and maybe it won't be ready in 18 months, but at least keeping it operating is what's required at this point of time, because I think shutting the facility down is just not an option for us at this point. Again, it's that reputation, and this is an unfortunate must-do cost. There are words I could use to describe it, but the procedural bylaw just won't let me do it. So I will reluctantly have to support this.
Thank you, Councillor Atkinson. Yeah, I'm not an engineer or an expert, but I've seen water do things to, like, once water starts getting into things, like it just finds fissures and cracks, and I think that's kind of like they and I don't know the procedure to do this, but they're gonna have to grind down this, portion of this back to a certain point. And if you don't fill it in like 100%, and there's just one little area where a bit of water gets in, it just gets underneath and it just continues to do this. And I think that's probably what's happened, is that you can't guarantee that you're 100% sealing it. And over the last 5 months or whatever, water is just seeped and it just pops and pops. And again, it's very unfortunate, because you really would rather not spend the money. But I also agree with the councillors that are saying we don't want it to be shut down and back up and then shut down and back up again. It is one of the most heavily used recreational facilities that we have. It serves a wide berth of residents. young, old, people of all abilities. We just can't afford to have it shut down. Now, again, that people have been using it for as long as they have. So I personally would be in favor of just ripping the Band-Aid off and fixing this thing, and so that we don't have to talk about it again for however long it's in use. Linda.
Thank you. I agree. We've got to rip the Band-Aid off because I can't stand seeing the bills come in every month, but I just feel like we're trumping a repair.
So we've gone around the table on this one fairly well. If there is no further discussion, and I don't see any, I've read the recommended motion. All in favor of the recommended motion? Opposed? And that is carried. Thank you. And with that, our special meeting is done. Hour and a half in. We got 2 more things to do. I know, I'm just saying the bulk of our work is done. So we are truly now done for the summer, unless some other thing comes up. So the confirmatory bylaw, the recommended motion is a bylaw 61-2026, confirmation of council proceedings for June 25th, 2026, be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed. Could I get a mover? Deputy Mayor Tennant and Councillor Atkinson. All in favor? And that's carried. And moves us to adjournment. Recommended motion is that this meeting be adjourned at 6:28 p.m. Moved by Councillor Hinton, seconded by Councillor Comley. All in favor? We are adjourned. Have a great summer, folks.